Imagine your government telling you, "Congratulations on your first baby, but that's it, you are done." Sounds like a dark joke, right? Well, for over 30 years, that was real life in China. From 1980 to 2015, Chinese couples were officially encouraged to have only one child. It was called the one-child policy, one of the most ambitious social programs in human history. The goal? To slow down a population boom. The method? Strict family planning rules, fines, inspections, and lots of paperwork. Yeah, not exactly a feel-good policy. But here's where the story takes a wild turn. Because one small town in China quietly did things differently, and somehow they ended up doing better than everyone else. Section 1. The rule everyone knew. For decades, China promoted the one-child idea everywhere. Posters, songs, and the TV all repeated the same slogan. One child is good, two are too many. It became part of daily life, and for a while, the policy seemed to work. China's birth rate dropped, and the economy grew. But there was a new concern: fewer young people, more elderly, and shrinking families. Still, most of the country kept following the rule, except for one place. Section 2. The rebel county that said no. Meet Yicheng County in Shanxi Province, population around 300,000. Back in 1985, a local scholar named Liang Zhongtang looked at the data and said, "Maybe we don't need to push so hard. People will have fewer children naturally when life improves." He believed that as education and living standards rose, families would choose smaller sizes on their own. So, with approval from provincial leaders, Yicheng began an unusual experiment. Women could have a second child as long as they waited, marry after 24, have the second after 30, and absolutely no third baby. In short, 2 kids allowed it, but take your time. Section 3. The surprising results. At first, many thought it would never work. What if everyone suddenly wants 2 kids? The population will explode. But over the next 25 years, something fascinating happened. The population barely changed from about 300,000 to just 302,000. Meanwhile, the rest of China, even with tighter rules, grew faster. Even more surprising, Yicheng's gender balance stayed healthy, and its population aged slower than the national average. So the counties that quietly took a softer approach ended up proving that patience worked better than pressure. Section 4. The bigger story. To understand why this mattered, let's rewind a bit. In the 1950s and 60s, China's population surged from 540 million to 830 million in just 20 years. Leaders worried that the country's resources couldn't keep up. By 1980, many experts were calling for urgent action. Some even predicted disaster if families kept having 2 or 3 children. But Liang Zhongtang argued otherwise. He wrote a report suggesting that later marriage and the longer gaps between births could reach the same goal, without harsh limits. To everyone's surprise, top leaders actually read his proposal and said, "Let's test this idea." That's how the Yicheng experiment began, quietly but successfully. Section 5. The Irony of History. Fast forward to 2015, China finally ended the one-child policy. But by then, something unexpected had happened. People no longer wanted bigger families. Housing was expensive, education cost a fortune, and modern life was stressful. Now, even the government encourages people to have more children. Please, have a second, maybe even a third. And people are like, nah, we're good. The irony? Yicheng figured that out 30 years earlier. So, what did this little county teach us? That you can't program human nature with spreadsheets. That trust and education often work better than pressure. And sometimes, the best population policy is simply to do nothing at all. Because when life gets better, people naturally decide one child, maybe two, is just enough.